We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. As if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy.
Silence! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. You have meddled with the primal forces of nature.
Don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts.
With Jason Bermas.
And who loves you? And who do you love?
Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody is in an upbeat, really great mood to do what we do here every day, spit some really hard truths. And the reason I'm hoping you're upbeat is because I come at this show with a lot of energy. I feel blessed that I am able to do this for a living, number one. And number two, I feel blessed that people actually give me an audience. And you're not just like any other audience out there. You guys are the hardcores. I want to say that. Don't get me wrong. We get new people all the time. They kind of just check it out, etc. Sometimes maybe I bring them back. Sometimes I don't. But there are so many of you that have now been with me in some way, shape, or form for well over a decade. And I'd like to, think that I have a pretty good track record. Not perfect. I was actually going through, I think like a 2018 or 2019 folder, and I was doing a video on Tesla and basically how it was a non-profitable, almost zombie-like company at that time, not making really any money and wondering whether or not it would actually go under. What I did not realize at the time, and I was very naive of, was that Musk had been brought in by the Central Intelligence Agency, Michael Griffin in particular, and that he had all sorts of military-industrial complex deals that would ensure that Tesla, which wasn't really a car company, again, you can look at the automation aspect of this, bringing us the Optimus robot. They'll invest in that all day. It doesn't have to make money. Okay, eventually the resource of getting rid of human beings in the workplace is it's infinitely more valuable to them because they control that resource. It's not even like money to them. So yeah, you've got Optimus, the automation bot, and then you also have the fact that Tesla alone, and we're just going to talk about Tesla for a second, also ends up doing the biological molecular printing with CureVac. Big contracts just there. Then you get to SpaceX, and it's drones away with the Blackjack/Starlink system that they put up there. So much more going on. I miss things. I miss things all the time. And even of a historical nature. Not going to get everything right. But I think I get enough right. And I bring such a different perspective than a lot of the mainliners out there that it's worth at least checking my stuff out. I think my documentaries are the best thing I do. I think the interviews can be extremely powerful and fun, depending on who I'm talking to. I hope that you premium members are enjoying the interviews. Again, this coming weekend, Jamie Deluxe got that one up and running. We'll probably be playing clips of that next week so you can see what you're missing if you're not getting over the weekend. And I'm actually interviewing Richard Andrew Grove of Grand Theft World. He used to do a Tragedy and Hope podcast. Really intelligent guy. Very, very well read. And the thing is, with the Tragedy and Hope thing, a lot of people are familiar with that vernacular because it is a book by Carol Quigley. And Quigley is kind of like the Neil Ferguson of his time, right? You saw the Neil Ferguson stuff yesterday in the second hour. And so he's a historian for this Western predator class that's coming together and trying to bring about globalization, whatever you like to call it, a new world order, global governance, etc. Back in the day. He also was a mentor to Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton often talked about him affectionately. And he really starkly said that these things were indeed happening, but gave it that academic spin, right? Oh, it's very reactionary. Certain things may appear to be reactionary, and you can't control everything, right? The reactionary element of, in my opinion, is after they, like when he brought up Trump in 2016, that's accurate. They really thought they had that one in the biz ag for Hillary. They thought that their infrastructure was there and he beat their algorithm. You understand? He beat their fraudulent system. Because no doubt in my mind, he got way more votes in 2016 than they ever told you. Right? And that kind of brings us into Ron DeSanctimonious to some, Ron DeSantis to others, and the Muskernuts teaming up. And now, you know, he's got it all, the Muskernuts. You think about it. I just mentioned the war stuff. I just mentioned the Tesla and the automation stuff. I didn't even mention the transhumanist brain stuff with Neuralink. And go on for days about that as well. But he's got you by the Muskernuts with the social media. Now, here's the thing. He is offering a platform to everybody that's running for president. He said that. Now, is he going to host all of their spaces? Will he host a Donnie T space? Donnie T! Come on. Ronnie D was just in there. You got to love how it's Joey B, Donnie T, Ronnie D. Making my job easy. Making my job easy. DeSantis, what do I think of him? Look, you know, I mean, I think of him a lot in the way I think of Trump, only he's more of an establishment politician than even Trump. Trump kind of dipped his toes in politics before this, but was rogue in some ways, right? Still, big mistakes. I don't know if they're going to be overcome. And I've seen some people in the alt-right or alt-mediaverse going, at least a perspective I respect. They're diehard Trump unless DeSantis comes out and says day one he drops the charges and pardons Assange from any wrongdoing. That would be a big one for me too. I would take a step back. I'd say maybe he's not so DeSanctimonious after all, Donnie T. I mean, you loved the WikiLeaks. You couldn't get enough of the WikiLeaks. You said, how about those WikiLeaks? Have you heard? More WikiLeaks. We've played the videos here. Let's not erase history. You ran on that. And people trusted that. Now, I'm not even going to hold you to lock her up. I thought that was cartoon level from the very beginning. Like, anybody that was like on the streets telling me that after the election you were somehow going to criminally go after the Clinton cartel and put them in jail, I mean, come on. Like, and Santa Claus was going to come down my chimney the next morn with the Easter Bunny, and we were all going to play Yahtzee and Monopoly all day. Like, that level of cartoon, okay? So we have to be grown-ups. We have to realize that even if your hero is Donnie T and the gang, he said some pretty outlandish things. He had people chanting pretty outlandish things. You can't say that was a serious point. And he wrapped it up almost immediately. Listen, She ran a great election. She's a good person. What? What? Why pander to your enemies? I don't pander to mine. Sorry. If you have a legitimate criticism, okay. And I'm willing to have a conversation with even people I probably shouldn't, but do despise, right? And we've got to admit that. That's not a good quality to have. You shouldn't despise other people. I try to have nothing but love in my heart and be nothing but respectful. But come on, man. If it's like, can you imagine me on a debate stage with Hillary Clinton? So Hillary, I find it extremely odd in your marriage to Bill Clinton that while you were working with Webb Hubble, yes, Webb Hubble, and I forget the other gentleman, was it I don't want to say Vince Foster, although it was probably Vince Foster, right? This is all the whatchamacallit Gates scandal. I was very young at the time. There was a scandal. It had something to do with, it wasn't Watergate, obviously. I think it was some kind of like banking scandal, and she was at a law firm. But you know what? Why don't I not say it? Why don't I not say it right now? And we'll do it live. And we'll type in Webb Hubble, Hillary Clinton. And I think it was Vince Foster. And I'm pretty sure Vince Foster also ended up dead. So we did it live. We're in the Googleverse. There's Webb Hubble up here. He writes occasionally for the New York Times. And Webb Hubble is also an author. And he's been asked a few questions about maybe some of that. Huh. I just typed in Hillary. That's odd. Oh. So, everybody wants to talk about Billy Boy, and there's Webb right there, good buddies, right? And his, wang dangle problems. But the bottom line is that whole relationship is based on vicious dishonesty. Okay? They're lawyers. You got the cackle box, the original cackle box, not the cackle monster, right? Hill Dog. Kamala Embarrassed does a hell of a cackle monster. I mean, can you imagine? Someone needs to do like a rap mashup of like Billy Boy just talking all smooth to a really good backbeat, and just Hill Dog cackle monster, Kamala cackle monster, and you throw in Joey B. Sly and Zombie J, like 2 generations of Biden, as the hook. Who's ready to do it? Who's ready to make that video? That goes viral. Come on, hippity hoppity producers, do it. So just on that level, though, the Hill Dog, Chelsea Clinton, Chelsea Clinton. You see how dishonest they are. Then you realize that Mena, Arkansas, is at the heart, the dark heart of the Iran-Contra scandal, while Billy Boy is the governor. Well, you begin to see why they push him up against his supposed enemy, George H.W. Bush. George H.W. Bush, I mean, when we talk about the Central Intelligence Agency, the Spook House, the actual deep state, all right, the deep events guys, he helped run, if did not outright run, the country with his own people and his administrations from the time Reagan got shot. If he wasn't pulling all the strings before that election to get himself into the vice president spot after he was not popular at all in this country, he sure shored some things up after that Reagan shooting with John Hinckley, who's playing music on YouTube and got a Twitter account. After it just so happens that family also close to the Bush family, and Neil was supposed to have dinner with the elder Hinckley brother that same night. They canceled the plans, don't worry. What? Huh? So he's there through Reagan, 8 years. There's some spillover with Iran-Contra because they're just too corrupt And part of that is Billy Boy. We're going to come back after this, talk more CIA. You're getting it here. And we're also going to play a lot of Ron DeSanctimonious as well. It's Reality Rants.
Have you heard of Executive Order 14067? This little-known order implemented the digital dollar, the most sinister plan to control your spending. And it gets worse. In November, the federal government and banks began a test program to roll out the digital dollar. With this, privacy for all Americans will be lost forever. Imagine, the government can now track all of your spending. The government can tell you what you can and can't buy. The government could confiscate your cash. When digital currency was rolled out in China, Bloomberg wrote, quote, "This will lead to control like no other," end quote. The EU has announced that they are next, but it is already happening in America, which makes this wealth protection guide that American Alternative Assets just put out even more urgent. Project Hamilton, as this secret order is being called, might be the scariest order to happen to privacy and freedom in America since its founding, which makes this wealth protection guide so incredibly valuable right now. Move your money out of cash and into something that doesn't infringe on your privacy. You see, there is one legal IRS-proof loophole that could protect your IRA, 401k, and pension savings with gold and silver. And this free guide tells you exactly which steps you need to take right now to move part of your IRA or 401k into precious metals with no tax consequences. As this program rolls out, the sky's the limit for the level of government control that could be enforced on your money. Protect your savings and your privacy. But in the devastation ahead, American Alternative Assets is offering you something rare, a chance to protect your wealth and possibly even grow it.
Thumbs it up, subscribe, share. Remember, the second hour is over at rvmrumble.com. Completely free. You want to support the broadcast. It is www.redvoicemedia.com/uncensored. 2 premium interviews you're not going to see anywhere else are up there on top of all the other premium Red Voice content. Let's wrap Bush up really quick because it goes into Bush, Clinton, Cackle Monster, right? Cackle Monster was supposed to take over, like after Bush again. They said, look, Cackle Monster. I know she again, Kamala's the Cackle Monster. I forget what she's the cackle of, but she's cackling. Like Hillary thought she was on the road to the presidency. Again, this is like a business it's House of Cards, man. If you watched House of Cards and you know that Clinton and Spacey were good buddies. You were buddy, right? Spacey, that whole group, the Weinstein group. And by the way, I got a great piece I'm going to be playing a clip of later from Al Jazeera on Hollywood and the CIA. It's very important. It's an extension of Mockingbird, but really was taking place even before that, right? That's one of the reasons maybe I like Ronnie a little bit, because he's taken on Disney, which, again, Disney partnered with the U.S. government during World War II. They got the favor back in Florida, buying up all that land, all right, through the Central Intelligence Agency. And Disney, their adult line, Miramax, Weinstein. Disney, their big sports thing right now is ESPN, deals with the UFC. Who's their boy? Conor McGregor. McRaping anybody? I don't know. Disney is like the worst. So when people start going to bat for the mouse, I'm like, what is going on here? It's wild. But again, you go from Clinton, and then, there's maybe a faction break-off at that point, because Gore, Bush, I don't know if there was much difference, but there is some jockeying at that level, for sure. And for some reason, Jeb Bush maybe, Florida maybe, I don't know. It was the punch hole ballot system. The hanging chads. And we end up getting Bush. We got a whole lot of Bush 8 years. That enraged people. But still, that dynasty was supposed to completely keep running with Hill Dog. At least Hill Dog thought so. But maybe they got a little too frisky during Gore. I don't know what happened. The establishment, obviously, though, by 2004, had their guy with the Barack star and Barry Soetoro. And if you don't think he's intelligence, come on. That he's a persona. He's not real. Like, again, I challenge anybody to show me the person that went through their entire high school career up until college and didn't change their name as a stage name that's not a entertainment Holly weirdo fakeo politician. Right? And I get it, a lot of the Hollywood stars that we live. That's not Charlie Sheen's real name. He's an Estevez. I get it. But they're actors. They're in the Hollyweird verse. Politicians doing the same thing should make it click. That's all I'm saying. So let's play some DeSanctimonious. Let's play some Ron DeSantis stuff. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the role of the Muskernuts in all of this. I think that is kind of important. So he announces on Twitter, not expected. He did. He announced the run on Twitter. And what's this one right here? Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that. And here's the thing. Take a look. I was just on SGT Report. And is Twitter freer? Again, the open source code shows the intelligence community still has a backdoor. They still got people working from the intelligence community inside. And SGT Report had me on recently, okay? Let me just pop this up, okay? So if you check it out, like, yeah, they're all monetized, but in between these videos, 236,200, I got 14,000. I got basically 1/10 to 1/20th of the views of the other videos. So to Rumble and even the Bonge's credit, SGT Report puts this out and says, hey, is this being shadow banned, this video? What is going on here? I don't understand. We do not shadow ban. Can you show us your example? We were able to find the video in the search. So it came up in their search. And then the Bonge, put this out. I hope we're not being shadow banned. I hope Jason Bermas isn't on a list because he's a bad, bad boy. I hope I'm not being deboosted across platforms. But I got to be honest with you. I bought the blue check mark. A lot of people came down on me. I bought the evil blue check mark, not because I was under the illusion that it would do what it said it would do and that my posts would be boosted and people would see them. I'm sure not going to hit the promote button and pay for them to be boosted. God forbid. I did it because they stopped allowing me to stream the show on that. So now I can post up to 2-hour videos, post a little bit of yesterday's. You can go through there. I do post the show, right? And that's it. And for what? Sometimes another 500-600 views. Same thing. I'm putting this out everywhere because you guys are the hardcores and you are the ones that support me. And without you guys, I'd be working 40, 60, maybe even 80 hours a week at 1 or 2 jobs like I've always done in my life. So I love the fact that I'm able to do this all the time. I mean, I got to take a break from it at times because it gets overwhelming, but we keep our finger on the pulse. All right, we've ranted enough in this Reality Rants opener with absolutely no video footage. Let's do it. Let's play the Ron DeSantis for President commercial. Old Ronnie D.
Our border is a disaster. Crime infests our cities. The federal government makes it harder for families to make ends meet, and the president flounders. But decline is a choice. Success is attainable, and freedom is worth fighting for. Righting the ship requires restoring sanity to our society, normalcy to our communities, and integrity to our institutions. Truth must be our foundation, and common sense can no longer be an uncommon virtue. In Florida, we proved that it can be done. We chose facts over fear, education over indoctrination, law and order over rioting and disorder. We held the line when freedom hung in the balance. We showed that we can and must revitalize America. We need the courage to lead and the strength to win. I'm Ron DeSantis, and I'm running for president to lead our great American comeback.
DeSantis for president. It's funny, my producer just texted me. Said it sounded like music from a Jordan Peele movie. I haven't seen, I saw the first one there. I wasn't that impressed. Nope, which a lot of people hated, had a lot of like secret Kubrick symbolism and actually was heavily about NASA, Hollywood, and the space program. I got to do a whole video on that. In fact, I bought the 4K Blu-ray. I never buy Blu-rays, but I bought it just for the extras to also demonstrate that from some of the cutscenes. Look, some of that, what he's saying is okay, is kind of real. But like we talked about yesterday, look, he had a great Surgeon General. They did great PR. But again, the hospitals there were able to get away with a lot of not so great things. We can't really talk about here on the tube. Sorry, not allowed to talk about it. So, and look, I get it. The guy's under attack from the left in a lot of respects, where you hear about the Don't Say Gay bill that was not the Don't Say Gay bill. Obviously, that's cartoon level. Like, you looked at the bill, it's like, hey, let's not sexualize children. Let's not talk about this in front of kids. That's a good idea. Great idea. Most people on both sides like that. And that's why DeSantis also has some Democrats coming around, right? They've been to... Here's the thing. Everybody goes to Florida at some point. Like everybody that votes at some point probably goes to Florida, right? They take a vacation. They've heard good things. Most people have there a lot of resorts, a lot of coastline, a lot of beach. Young people go to Florida for spring break all over. Generations of them have. Middle-aged people go there. Get the marriage back together with the kids, do a little Disney, huh? Among other things. Everybody goes there. So, like, he's got a wide appeal from that angle. And a lot of people on both sides realize things are F Tardino. Very bad. Like, flukel schnooked to the big time. They realize they got a zombie up there that can't speak. They know that. And that's not even the conservative crowd or the right crowd or the Trump forever diehard crowd. That's like everybody in America at this point. There's not, again, one person that can look me in the eye that is not like super deranged and angry about everything, by the way, and telling me that Joe Biden runs anything. Like, they can start getting angry with me, and because they'll say, well, he passed this and you're white supremacist. Well, I'm like, he's not my, first of all, the other guy's not my anything. Let's stop there. Let's go with the president, the question I asked you. I didn't ask what he's got done. I said, does he run anything? And they, you know, well, no, does he run anything on a day-to-day basis? Can he talk? Is that okay? And I try and do a little more calm than that. But they can't look me in the eye and be honest and say, yes, yeah, he's running a lot. No, he's not. Again, the only thing that be running about Joe Biden is what's going down his pants leg when it gets past his drawers and his depends. And I know so many people, they love to do the depends on Trump. I'm not even trying to pick on old people. I'm just saying, this guy's not in control of anything. Anything. He doesn't control when he falls asleep. The guy was falling asleep at those global meetings with Kerry. You can watch the footage. It's like a year ago now. Things are wild. So there's a couple more clips I'm going to play on the flip side of the next commercial. I've got the media acknowledging that social media is the new spot, that nobody's really listening to the news anymore. You don't have to announce via the news. It's not even a real thing. And then I do have the traditional news with Trey Gowdy, who I'm not sure, has anybody officially taken over for the Tuckins Hour? I got to tell you, I have not turned on really the television at all for news in quite some time. And when I was doing it and looking at everything, I would always make sure to check out the Tuck, but the Tuck's not on. So I don't even watch that anymore. So we've got that, and then we've actually got a piece of the space he was in before it crashed, because it was their most successful space, where Thomas Massey is asking some real questions, and you know that I appreciate the Massey. All right, let's take it to Mike Lindell.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear, dog
Whoa,
beds.
whoa, Charles. Everyone now can get MyPillow products at huge discounts at MyPillow.com. That's right. Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our 3-in-1 sale. We're bringing you exciting new products, overstock specials, and closeout deals you won't find anywhere else. For example, when you buy one of our brand new MyPillow 2.0s, you get another one absolutely free. And with our overstock sale, you save 50% on our luxurious Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.99 for the best sheets ever. And with our biggest closeout special, you get our all-season slippers for only $35. Or our sandals and slides for just $25. Quantities are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
I love my audience. I was looking over there. I mentioned Trey Gowdy, and my boy goes, Trey Gowdy reminds me of Earthworm Jim. For those not familiar with Earthworm Jim, again, we like to do it live here. All I'm going to say is he might not be wrong. He might not be wrong. Like, there's... there, and again, I'm not trying to pick out anybody's appearance, but you saw him right there. Let's type in Trey Gowdy. A little uncanny. I'm not. You decide. A little. I mean, maybe he was the inspiration back in the day for that '90s video game. Maybe he represented somebody as a lawyer. Anyway, we're gonna move it along. That's good stuff. Yeah, great video game, by the way, especially back in the day for a platformer. Fluid graphics, really great on the Genesis, showed what it could do. I'm showing my geek right now. Here is the media talking about the movement from mainstream media to social media. And again, that's why Elon is so important. Now he's got a whole social media space where he just made the CEO another World Economic Forum person. I mean, these people, I mean, they got a hold of you, whether you like it or not. They do have a hold of the narrative. But here you go again. And the thing is, when we move to social media, a lot of these social media influencers have a wide reach, number one, but they're bought for a lot less money. And they actually think they're doing the right thing because they're approached like, hey, you're going to save lives with this message. Here's a little scratchola. Here's a script. Let's shoot it. Let us know which one you like. And we're going to let you know which one we like. Maybe we come together. Soon that social media influence is going to be AI-based most of the time. Scary.
On this question of DeSantis, look, his whole strategy in Florida has been, to run against the media, make them a boogeyman. And look, that absolutely helps with the GOP base.
No, it's not. Doesn't help with the GOP base. Helps with everybody because you guys are known liars. Again, we played the clip yesterday, the guy that failed upwards at the Atlantic, right? Talking about Saddam Hussein and Al-Qaeda training camps. Saddam Hussein and Al-Qaeda training camps. They're going to get you. No, it's not. It goes to everybody. And that's why they're giving you the new Muskernut savior in social media. Oh, okay.
Which doesn't like the press. It's a tactic that can be effective, but it's also a tactic that can create challenges because when you're running for president, it's not just dealing with the Florida media. It's an entirely new set of challenges. And like it or not, the national press does set the narrative when it comes to the pre-primary jockeying.
No, it doesn't. That's ridiculous. The press doesn't set the narrative at all. They set the narrative for the unthinking. All right, which is growing ever smaller. I mean, this is CNBC. How many people are watching CNBC? How many people are really watching MSNBC or CNN or ABC or CBS? People are watching like Dateline late at night for like murder mystery stuff. Like, most people are pretty fed up. And look, we went through the percentages. I'd say less than 20% of the population that even watches the news cares about these people.
The year before the primary, what used to be called the invisible primary, the coverage is really important, and he's not done himself any favors so far, I think, by refusing to engage with the press corps. And the question now is that going to change here in the weeks and months ahead? I can tell you this morning, real fast, a lot of candidates who are thinking about running, who are already running themselves, who are not named Ron DeSantis, are thrilled because they see an opening.
They see an opening. Yeah, okay. Look what happened again with Donnie T coming in there and just crushing on their mainstream narrative. Yeah, it got CNN some press, but did it make Donnie T look worse or better? Or pretty much the same, right? I mean, because CNN's an embarrassment, and most people know that at this point. So here's where the mudslinging and the DeSanctimonious gets going, and people love the WWE wrestling. Here we go. So there's a AI-generated video parody of DeSantis that I think he posted on like Instagram. And there's the Muskernuts, and there's George Soros, and Klaus Nutschob, and Donnie T gets to speak, but so does the Devil, Adolf, and Dick Cheney. And I tried listening to it, and it's like at the beginning, it's like, oh, do you not know how to work the internet? Blah, 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 blah. Like a lot of these spaces go, because there's always somebody that doesn't know what the hell they're doing on them. Or there's always a technical issue. I don't know, man. Like I said, this plays at least into the narrative that there are some people that want a guy like DeSantis because they don't like how Trump will like socially punch you in the face like you're in high school. But a lot of people love that. Like, if you think about it, at least in sports too, that's loved by people. People love that, right? They love a shiz talker. So that has to be acknowledged. We can't just act like that's not a thing, because it is. It's a big, big thing. All right, let's play some of this clip. Right, him with DeSantis in the call with Thomas Massie, who probably the best thing Congress has going at this point, talking and asking DeSantis what we do about the fact that Congress is so corrupt and can't seem to get anything done.
My question to you is, you served here in Congress for 6 years with me, and why is it that Congress is so feckless at reining in these government agencies, and what do you think we need to do? And if you were president, what would you urge Congress, or what bills would you like to see and sign to rein in this, sort of overreach of government bureaucracy?
Well, first, I think there's a lot that the executive branch can do, and all I will say when it comes to these agencies, we'll go into this a little bit more as the campaign goes on, but buckle up when I get in there, because the status quo is not acceptable, and we are going to make sure that we reconstitutionalize this government. And these agencies are totally out of control. There's no accountability, and we are going to bring that in a very big way. Now, part of the reason it's gotten so bad, power's been consolidated and effectively a fourth branch of government, because Congress hasn't used its two main powers that it has under the Constitution. First, the power of the purse. If an agency is engaging in conduct that is outside the realm of what is legal, or you think it's not good for the public interest, then you can remove the funding for those operations. There's nothing that they're not entitled to get the same level of funding every year, and yet Congress runs the government on autopilot, either continuing resolutions or massive omnibus spending bills. So these agencies are all bulletproof. They know that they're going to end up getting something similar or more every single year, and it creates an incentive for them to abuse their power. The other thing you can do is actually legislate, so you're not delegating to the bureaucracy key issues regarding how to enforce federal law. You should define what you want. All they should be doing is implementing. Instead, Congress will basically give an invitation for the bureaucracy to make really important substantive decisions. And so Congress may never vote on something and the bureaucracy will cite a law from 20 years ago and do things that are going to transform our society or our country. That is not the way the founding fathers drew up the Constitution.
So would you sign the Reins Act? We passed it out of judiciary today.
Oh, yeah, no,
You
of
want-
course. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. That would, I think, be a great check for that. I also think that we're going to have a good chance to see some of this Chevron deference really curtailed or maybe even eliminated based on the U.S. Supreme Court's upcoming jurisprudence. And I think that's another reason why the bureaucracy has become so powerful, because courts have basically been told they can pretty much do what they want, and courts are supposed to just defer. I don't think that that's actually correct. I think the courts, they have to make a judgment about what does the law actually say, and you can't just defer to quote unquote experts in the bureaucracy.
All sounds great, right? Because it does address a lot of the problems that we face. Again, he talks about the court system. In the end, he talks about these bureaucracies that are going to get their funding and the mechanisms and systems. But the proof will be in the pudding. Now, I know there's just so many people out there that are so diehard Trumpsky and Hutch that they're not even going to listen to he's DeSanctimonious. And there are a lot of my audience still, and I don't blame them, that just thinks the whole thing is a show, and does any of it matter? And even with me talking about it, I look at the electoral system. I don't think in any way it's been fixed since 2020. I don't think it was right in 2016. I think the machines are a complete and total fraud. A complete and total fraud on every level, on every company sold to the American public that they're safe and effective. Yeah, they're safe and effective for those that control them. You know, and as long as they can't be audited, in my opinion. So that's a huge issue. We need to address it. It still hasn't been addressed. And that leads me to believe that no matter what, they're going to get their person in there. Now, the thing about Donnie T is Donnie T even going to be able to run? This is a conversation I had with Roger Stone how many months ago, but it's the truth. You know, you look at the E. Jean Carroll thing. I think that's a total railroad job. I would say the vast majority of conservatives do. Again, you look at that town hall, and Donnie T is a rock star. He's a rock star. Okay? I mean, he's telling that story about how absurd the trial is. I watched it, and I was pretty much in agreement with the crowd. Whether you hate the guy or not, that whole incident looks ridiculous, but the media runs with it. That's why they can't be trusted. That's why that guy right there is full of bull snap. No one trusts that nonsense. Only the most hardcore, deranged, all right, TDS, mother truckers, and the never Trumpers, I mean, political operative style, right, or mental illness would think that woman was credible. I'm sorry. If you watched her interview with Anderson Cooper, that's a lunatic. It's what it is. I've talked about this for many years. Crazy exists. Crazy has existed for a long time. It's not going away. It can never go away. And, you know, again, the powers that be want to tell you it can go away so they can medicate the vast majority of us one day, hopefully mandatorily. In their eyes, just want to point that out. Just want to say that. But no, crazy exists, and that woman's part of the crazy club. Criminal charges, nah. Now let's just sue him. Let's do that, and we're gonna make him guilty of something abhorrent right before he goes into the town hall. Still a rock star. So now we've got the trial of the hush money. The hush money to Stormy. And again, we have to be adults. I was an adult from the beginning when this story broke, and people were going, he doesn't even know her. Oh no, he knew her. No. I totally see old Donnie T making a pass at Stormy D. Right? Come on. More than a pass. That's his cup of tea. And if you were in denial about that one, I said, hey, you need to check yourself. All that probably happened. But at the same time, NDAs, hush money, the whole nine. Now he's going to court for that. They got him in the court system while the primaries go on. Can he run? We're going to come back to what else they're going to throw at Donnie T after this word from our sponsor.
Folks, we have a huge problem on our hands. A banking crisis is spiraling, and it's all thanks to the current administration's reckless spending, sky-high inflation, and massive interest rate hikes. Now, these banks are suffering, and guess what? They can legally seize your savings without notice to bail themselves out. That's right. Thanks to a sneaky law passed back in 2008, it's now legal for banks to take your hard-earned money, including your retirement savings, to save themselves. Now, this could leave your retirement accounts decimated, and you paying the price for their disastrous policies. Take action now before it's too late. Now, this guide will show you how to defend your money and keep your retirement savings safe from the banking crisis and the current administration's financial fiasco. This simple and 100% legal strategy may help you protect your retirement against higher taxes, soaring inflation, and a volatile economy. So don't let your golden years be ruined by someone else's mistakes. To secure your free wealth protection guide and safeguard what's rightfully yours, don't wait. The time to act is now.
RVMRumble.com is where you're going to find the second hour uncensored. And as you guys know, we've been playing a lot of videos that you just can't get away with on YouTube with my channel. You know, it's funny, even with like licensed music. So I put out just a bit of the Jay Dyer and just a bit of the, what was it? The Stuart J. Hooper. And then I have the little RVM logo tag and the music. It's licensed. I get a copyright hit on those too. Man, my channel, I just hope that we keep this channel because the 2,000-3,000 views on average that we get at least bring people over to the uncensored stuff, which is just as important. I think the second hour sometimes is bigger and better than the first. So I hope a lot of you are going there. And here's what I would ask of the Bermas Brigade today. You know, I get it if everybody can't support me financially. redvoicemedia.com/uncensored. $10 a month if you can. It's a great way to do it. Lock it in for the year. Save $20. That also really supports me. Lets them know that you want to see more Jason Bermas. Thank you. But I get it. You can't do that. Send out 5 DMs or 5 emails, not a group one, not a group thing, with an individual greeting to each person. When I say individual greeting, I don't just mean their name. It's like you actually say something personally about their wife, their kids. Hope this person's all right. Their hobby. Hey, I hope you're still doing this. Blah, 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 blah. And then say, you know, there's a lot of, you know, extreme media on both sides. Maybe you should check this person out and then just give them a video you think that would be good for them. Just 5 people. Doesn't have to be 5 different videos. Doesn't have to be the same video for all those people. That will help the broadcast grow. That will help the broadcast grow. So consider doing that if you want to support me. And who knows, maybe you reconnect with somebody that you haven't talked to in a while. Again, friends, family, whoever. That will help. Okay. So let's bring it back to where Donnie T is going to be. Barr is already predicting that they're going to go after criminal charges via this document scandal as well. What I see happening is he's going to be in the trial that we just discussed with the hush money and the Stormy and the hush money with another woman and supposedly the hush money about a supposed love child. That's what's in the media. Who knows? That'll be in March primary season. Somehow he overcomes and he gets the nomination with a barrage of media and political savagery, because that's what it will be. It will be media and political savagery. And a lot of it's going to come from Fox News, everybody. A lot of people at Fox are going to get behind. In fact, we're going to play the Gowdy clip, the DeSantis train. They're going to go choo-choo, choo-choo. And again, not holding water for Donald Trump. He talks a good game. Failed on Assange. Failed in Syria. Failed with the election in 2020 and any real accountability there. Failed with the voucher. Failed with warp speed. and on and on and on. There are a lot of failures there. There are a lot of bigger wins, but that whole COVID-1984 nightmare, big loss. That whole, what we started with Assange, big loss. If it's true, selling pardons for $2 million a pop, splitting them with Rudy G, the Julian, that's bad news brown, bro. That speaks of the dirty, dirty nature of these politics. That's grimy. Ugh, I don't like it. I don't like it. But again, even if you want Trump, think about all those things going on. Think about all those things going on at the same time as the 2024 election, where World War III's like on the table. Remember that whole thing? Like, forget about problems with our election systems, national elections. Remember, there's going to be a lot of noise from the other elections that are going on in that cycle. But, you know, World War III, kind of a big deal. All right, let's play this Gowdy DeSantis clip right now.
How would you address the ongoing war in Eastern Europe between Russia and Ukraine on day one of a Ron DeSantis presidency?
Well, first, I think what we need to do as a veteran is recognize that our military has become politicized. You talk about gender ideology, you talk about things like global warming that they're somehow concerned in. That's not the military that I served in. We need to return our military to focusing on commitment, focusing on the core values and the core mission. That would be something that I could take care of on day one. There'll be a new sheriff in town as commander-in-chief, and I think you'll see recruiting start to get back to where it needs to be, because people don't want to join a woke military, and I think it's been really, really problematic. Look, in terms of what's going on over in Eastern Europe, I'd like to see a settlement of this. I do not want to see a wider war. I think it's completely unknowable what it will look like in January of 2025, but I would not want to see the United States with our troops get enmeshed in a war in Russia or in Ukraine.
All right, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. None of what he said there was good. None of what he said there was good. That was mushmouth in a lot of ways. Like, we're going to restore the military. We're getting rid of woke ideology. All right, great. First of all, I don't know that they really want human recruitment. I think they want to bring in automation. I think they want soft, malleable souls. Why? Because the U.S. military is really just going to be become part of a larger military group, even more of an extension than NATO in this situation. Largely AI and robotics and automated and drone run, period. So I think a lot of that's imagination land too. Really the only thing that I think he's correct on is, no matter what you think, whether it's Trump or DeSantis, whether either one, who knows where we're at in January of 2025? I just said it. World War III, anybody? I mean, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I'm trying to literally just put it on the table. That's a real possibility, okay? That's a real deal possibility. Now, coming up in the second hour of the broadcast, I'm going to give a little highlight action of some of the stuff that we're going to hit on. But a lot of it's going to be brought to you by this Twitter account, The Researcher, listen_to_learn. Awesome account. I get a lot of great videos and stories. And, we have this Operation Mockingbird clip. And the extension of that is so great that, in the second hour, I'm going to show you Hollyweird. Okay? Hollyweird. And how they're connected with the Central Intelligence Agency and those narratives. And they're like, well, why do they want to get rid of Hollywood? No, they want to revamp Hollywood with less human beings, with less chances of people going rogue, with even more intelligence. You understand? But in truth, the intelligence empire's efforts to manufacture the truth and mold public opinion are more vast and varied than ever before. One of its foremost assets, Hollywood. And believe it or not, that's from The Atlantic. I think this is a 2016 article. Yeah. July 14th, 2016. So let's go even more old school before we flip over to the other side and watch this church committee hearing on Operation Mockingbird back in '75.
I thought that it was a matter of real concern that planted stories intended to serve a national purpose abroad came home and were circulated here and believed here, because this would mean that the CIA could manipulate the news in the United States by channeling it through some foreign country. And we're looking at that very carefully.
Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to a major circulation American journal?
We do have people who submit pieces to American journals.
Do you have any people paid by the CIA who are working for television networks?
This, I think, gets into the kind of getting into the details, Mr. Chairman, that I'd like to get into in executive session.
At CBS, we had been contacted by the CIA. As a matter of fact, by the time I became the head of the whole news and public affairs operation in 1954, the ships had been established, and I was told about them and asked if I'd carry on with them.
We have quite a lot of detailed information, and we will evaluate it, and we will include any evidence of wrongdoing or any evidence of impropriety in our final report and make recommendations.
Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to the national news services, AP and UPI?
Well, again, I think we're getting into the kind of detail, Mr. Chairman, that I'd prefer to handle in executive session.
Senator, do you think that you named the news organizations in your final report?
That remains to be decided.
I think it was entirely in order for our correspondents at that time to make use of CIA agent chiefs of station and other members of the executive staff of CIA as sources of information which were useful in their assessments of world conditions.
Would you say that continues today?
Well, I would think probably for a reporter it would continue today, but because of all of the revelations of the period of the 1970s, it seems to me that a reporter's got to be much more circumspect in doing it now, or he runs the risk of at least being looked at with considerable disfavor by the public. I think you've got to be much more careful about it.
Oh, I think you got to be much more careful about lying to the public when you're working with the Central Intelligence Agency. But the thing is, even that now has been completely inverted, where the Central Intelligence Agency is on the news constantly as contributors. In the news constantly as authoritative sources. There used to be a time it was frowned upon. You had to be a little more careful when you were lying to the public and working with the spooks. Not anymore. That is over. At least it's over in the great narrative, the post-truth world, what they want you to believe. What they got like the zombie class believing. That's about it. The only people that are buying into that are the zombie class. So here's the deal, YouTube. We're about to go into the second hour. Okay, you can do so over at rvmrumble.com. That's rvmrumble.com. If you want to support the broadcast, again, it's redvoicemedia.com/uncensored. Just $10 a month. But hey, you can try out the first week, so you can go check out all my premium interviews from before, okay, for just $1. 1 week, $1. Check them out. You don't like it, cancel the subscription, or come on in for $10 a month over at redvoicemedia.com/uncensored. Final word from our sponsor and YouTube. We will see you soon.
We love the internet, but the internet is tracking everything you do. Take control of your online privacy. with IP Vanish. People with malicious intent are everywhere, watching you. Criminals can hack your Wi-Fi, while broadband providers and advertisers monitor your data. With IP Vanish on your device, your internet activity is encrypted. No one can see what you're doing. Your location, your connection, completely hidden. Protect your internet privacy today with IP Vanish.
All right. So we are in